I'm Andrew Gardner. I am the Director of BrainPOP Educators, which is a support site for teachers that use BrainPOP education products. I'm also a part-time adjunct professor at NYU in instructional design. And prior to my experience at BrainPOP and NYU, I was a classroom teacher and a technology integrator for young children here in New York City. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the connections between social emotional learning and media literacy, because I think they're fairly intimately connected, and a lot of the work that I've done as a teacher and now at BrainPOP is connected to the ways that these things are connected. So if we think about what social emotional learning is, SEL, some people may call it emotional intelligence or intrapersonal or interpersonal intelligence, but it's really the helping children and adults and anyone learn a little bit about identifying emotions and emotional regulation, empathy, how to feel for other people. And it's a very important thing to be aware of to be successful in the world. And there's been tons of research about the importance of having a strong emotional intelligence or interpersonal intelligence in order to connect with other people. And there's many ways to teach it. And one of the greatest ways to teach it I've found through the years is through media literacy. And that is important from traditional media, such as books and written text and film, but also in new media. So if we think about books or text, there's many different mechanisms within text that get an emotional rise out of us as readers. I think, for example, when I was in college, I read Savage Inequalities by Jonathan Kozol. And it was a very emotionally driven book, and it made me feel very passionate about the power of education for social mobility in the United States. And that was formative for me. I read that, and because of the passion and the emotional response I got from reading that book, it was one of many things that helped me go into education as a profession. In addition, if we look at film and moving image, there's a lot of mechanisms within film that also really can pull out emotional resonance in people, using point of view shots and reaction shots. And that's why we love the stories and the entertainment that we see in film, because it's a safe way to feel emotions and to become familiar with them, so that in real life, when we experience them, they're not totally fresh. And there's an interplay between the experience of an emotion through a response to media and the experience of an emotion in response to our real life experiences. So that's important. There's very important ways and interesting ways to help kids understand their emotions and through using traditional media. Now, when we start thinking about new media and new media literacies in general, it's also incredibly important to have the social emotional literacy in place as well. And we see this primarily through our relationship to social media. And if we go online and we have an intent to write something or to read the newspaper, we'll often find ourselves really distracted for our attention. You may see a top 10 list with a clickbait image, or choose to play a pretty addictive casual game. There's a lot of competition for our attention, and it's important for us as independent operators within the context of a social media world to be aware of how these top 10 lists and casual games are really trying to get our attention and are using so many different psychological and behavioral mechanisms to get us to engage. And if we do not have the self-awareness and the awareness of the emotions that the top 10 lists or that the comment from a friend or that a video may have, we may not be able to self-regulate in a way and continue to get stuff done. We are living in many ways in response to the stimuli rather than proactively trying to determine what we want to do. And so it's really important to have these social emotional awarenesses when operating in a new media world, so that we make better choices, which ultimately leads to a stronger participatory democracy and an active citizenship that is determined by the values that an individual has and is proactively acted on rather than only in response to to stimuli that may be created by things that are designed to distract us. At the same time, many of the things that are designed to distract us can also be very beneficial. If we think about some casual games that may have mathematics facts embedded in them, it's a terrific way of learning the skills and practicing the skills through playing a game that may be more fun and maybe more emotionally engaging. Indeed, there's been recent studies that we can build empathy in real life through having played a video game of Rock Band with a total stranger, and that we'll feel more empathic with them after 15 minutes of playing that game. So there's many ways that these traditional and new medias can influence us in really great ways, as well as distract us and take us away from focusing on things that are really important. So I think one of the main focuses of 21st century education should be the link of social emotional learning and social emotional intelligence through response to media and through deconstructing of media and through ultimately understanding media. So what does that look like in a classroom? I would often say it would be through exercises in deconstruction and then experiences of constructing media. So helping students create their own top 10 lists, to make their own movies that use point of view and reaction shots to elicit emotions from people who may be viewing it. And so through giving students authentic experiences of constructing traditional and new media environments and content, we are giving them the tools to be more active and thoughtful consumers of media and content as well. So that's my 2 bits about new media literacy and social emotional literacy.